think it started by, I think Adam Warren. I think even just in his basic form, he's a very talented writer himself, and you can read these descriptions, and things just sort of flow from the characters' mouths, from the descriptions to everything. I think it's really cool. And as well is this, I love the character of Holden. I think as I've touched on before, is sort of his adolescence and his journey that he takes from sort of boy to man, not only in each episode, but sort of as an overall arc. And even just reading the first one and knowing sort of the journey that he was going to take, I was very interested in being able to portray that and put it on screen.
What do you think that like fans should watch this show? Sci-fi, supernatural fans, what sets the show apart from other ones?
Yeah, I think what our show does is we try to take a boy with abilities and put him in a small town in sort of modern day times and sort of see what happens. And so he is really the main premise of what he wants to find is really just find out who he is. So he is going through all of the things, even though he's in a 25-year-old body, that a 13-year-old would do in all their teenage years is growing up. So he's taking all these experiences going for the first time. And on top of that, we have the superhuman abilities. So I think it's kind of cool to see this character grow up and then sort of discover who he is, what these abilities are, and how he wants to use them as a child.
So, okay, you know the Shrian on your arm, don't trust it, trust no one?
Yeah.
Like, so, I don't trust anybody watching this pilot. So who can we trust? Like, is there anybody we can trust? Is there anybody that we need to become invested in besides your character?
I think there are a lot of guards and there's a lot of shields that are thrown out by these people, and it's interesting because you kind of, as you mentioned, the pilot, you go into a blind with Holden. You see exactly up to his sort of point in his childhood. He blacks out, he wakes up, and he's blind to everyone. And he knows, obviously, who his family is, but they're different. They've changed. His friends have changed. Everyone who he interacts with is either someone new or someone that he knew before but doesn't look the same or act the same and has become a different person. So I'd say there really is no one he can 100% trust, but he can hope to trust his family, hopefully his friends, and hopefully the people that he meets won't put on too much of a mask and lead him into too much danger, which some of them may.
So you embody the naivety of that kid pretty well. I mean, it was amazing, to see you, especially like when you drive first time and you see a girl first time. So can you talk a little bit about your preparation for kind of playing a teenager, or even a teenager, so to say? Did you have to specifically? Did you prepare? How was that experience?
Absolutely. I derived. I mean, a lot of it was It was a very fun collaborative process with our directors and our writers and stuff to keep him, as you said, a very innocent, sort of on-looking character. And we tried to take him back to, we had this ongoing term throughout all the episodes of wonderment, as you would say. And it's sort of that when a baby opens his eyes and he sees everything from it, someone sneezing to a rattle to, food for the first time. There's that sense of, what is this? What do I do with this? And oh my gosh, this is so amazing. It's even the bad things are somewhat that's amazing. A loud noise. It might be scary, but it's new. So we really tried to take something back to experience it for the first time. And for me, that was a big process. And as well as some of the things that he would experience, I could relate to in my growing up as a young man, from my teenage years moving on. I remember my first time talking to a girl, my first time having all of these sort of teenage experiences that were really fun to sort of reenact.
But also on the other side, which I really enjoyed, and I think I spoke to you last night in your performance, was I saw some dark shades in the performance too, like that scene where you hit the ground. The camera work is beautiful, of course, it looks great, but your look, it's like pretty dark. And I was like, okay, now he looks very different. Should play a villain. So can you talk a little bit about the completely opposite part of playing that and doing some action work? I mean, because action is pretty big on TV. You see the quality of action on TV is like, so how was that, playing the dark part and the action sequence and stuff like that?
I love, and will still, I love action movies. So for me, being able to do something like this is really a cool dream come true. And doing the stunt work and doing all that fun stuff was really unbelievable and captured on, as we've sort of envisioned it, a very movie-esque cinematography type way, which we really enjoy how the pilot, the rest of the series has panned out. And I love sort of, as you said, the dark moments of it, because he isn't necessarily, a good guy that's given these powers and all this stuff. He's discovering what he is and who he is. So it's he has this choice. You put this sort of innocent boy who doesn't really know really right from wrong most times because he hasn't experienced what right and wrong means into this position of power. And it's very interesting to see exactly when some of these darker emotions and when he lets his sort of anger, frustration come out, and unfortunately with these powers, what they can do to the surroundings and as well as the people around him. It's very cool.
So you're going to high school or no?
It's interesting. We touch on school. We touch on school a bit in it. I mean, there's a lot of elements that take place outside school. Some of it touches on education. This takes place right when he sort of comes out of his coma, and sort of that is the generation of the show when he wakes up. So I mean,
still the first episode.
Exactly. He's not enrolling the first day, so there is some school aspects, and as well as sort of meeting that young crowd and a lot of school-based aspects that might not be taking place in school, but take place sort of out in that world. Yeah.
So I feel like the pilot leaves you with more questions than answers. But,
Yeah.
Like, what's the real question that we should be asking? Like, what?
I think I mean, for me, when I read it, is I mean, saying that what is happening? I mean, who is this, and what is he going to do? I think is who these characters are, how he's going to interact with them. And you're right, you're left with a lot of questions, and we did that because we are allowing you to learn with Holden. He's taking exactly all of this in so quickly that throughout the rest of the series, you will slowly learn who these characters are, what they mean to him, and eventually he will sort of be able to navigate through the world with more of an understanding as the audience will, I'd say. So the best way...
For one more question, sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, the best way is you have to tune in to find out. It's cliche, isn't it?
I mean, I'm waiting to find out if the bad guys are with the government and you go home to your family. It's
Yeah.
like, I gotta wait till what, February now?
I was going to say January, but so it's a month earlier than you thought. But there are a lot of big questions, and I think that's the cool part of what we do is there's not a lot of sort of expository beginnings. There's really there's no text, there's no type. You are left with a lot of unanswered questions that you will sort of, as I would say, without trying to give away anything, or I won't, but you'll figure out with him. You'll figure out with Holden, and you really will get them from points of views of characters, which is interesting as well, is you don't get a sort of an out-of-world sort of view on who people are. You get points of views as information is being told to him, which may be skewered from the character that tells them himself. So it's a fun way of sort of putting together this world and seeing exactly who's bad, who they work for, and really, are they bad in the first place?
Right. Good luck. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. That means a lot to me. Thank you.